Have you ever stood in a room full of people talking about the weather and felt completely exhausted? Not because you hate people, but because the conversation feels empty. How was your weekend? Busy. Oh, nice. That's good. And somehow, after 10 minutes of talking, you feel more drained than if you had stayed silent. Why? There was once a man named Adrian. Adrian was not rude. He was not antisocial. He simply disliked small talk. At work events, he smiled politely. He nodded at jokes. He answered questions. But inside, he felt restless. He wanted to ask deeper things. What keeps you awake at night? What are you afraid of? What are you really working toward? But those questions felt inappropriate, too intense, too much. So he stayed quiet. People often misunderstood him. You're too serious. Why don't you talk more? Relax, it's just casual conversation. Adrian tried. He really did. But every time he forced himself to engage in surface-level chatter, he felt like he was pretending, like he was acting in a role that didn't fit. One evening, after another draining networking event, Adrian sat alone in his car. He whispered, "Why do I hate this so much?" The answer didn't come immediately, but over time he realized something. Small talk isn't the problem. The problem is disconnection. People who dislike small talk often crave meaning. They crave authenticity, depth, emotional honesty. Their minds don't stop at what do you do, they want to know why you do it. They don't just want noise, they want substance. Adrian remembered being a child. He used to ask endless questions. Why is the sky blue? What happens when we die? Why do people lie? He was curious, deeply curious. But somewhere along the way, he learned that deep questions make people uncomfortable, so he learned to shrink them. But shrinking your curiosity comes at a cost. Every time Adrian participated in small talk, he felt like he was starving emotionally. Not because the people were shallow, but because the conversation never reached the part of him that felt alive. One day, he met an older colleague named Miriam. She was calm, observant. During a break, instead of asking him about the weather, she asked, "What's something you've been thinking about lately?" The question caught him off guard. He paused. Then he answered honestly, and for the first time in months, he felt energized by a conversation, not drained. That's when he understood something important. People who hate small talk are not arrogant. They are sensitive to depth. Their energy depends on meaningful exchange. Surface-level interaction feels like walking in circles, but real conversation feels like movement. However, there is a shadow side. If you reject small talk completely, you may isolate yourself, because small talk is often a bridge, a doorway. It's not the destination, it's the beginning. And sometimes, you must cross the shallow water to reach deeper ground. Adrian learned balance. He stopped judging himself for wanting deeper conversations, but he also stopped resenting small talk. He began to see it differently, not as pointless noise, but as a social ritual, a warm-up, a gentle knock on the door before entering someone's inner world. Now ask yourself, do you hate small talk because it's meaningless, or because you're afraid your depth won't be understood? Some people avoid deep conversations because they fear vulnerability. Others avoid small talk because they crave authenticity. Neither is wrong, but understanding your reason changes everything. If you dislike small talk, it may be because you think deeply, feel deeply, observe deeply, and your soul simply gets tired of pretending otherwise. There is nothing wrong with that. Just remember, connection doesn't always start deep. Sometimes it begins with something simple and grows from there. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who struggles with trust. Subscribe for more psychological stories about the human mind. Thank you for listening.